मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयम् करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादम् शङ्करम् लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करम् शङ्कराचार्यम् केशवम् बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। दयाकरं दयाकारं दान्तं धर्मप्रवर्तकं प्रणमामि दयानन्दं मदाचार्यवरं परम्। ॐ गं गणपतये नमः। ॐ गं गणपतये नमः। ॐ गं गणपतये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ नत्वा श्रीभारतीतीर्थ विद्यारण्यमुनीश्वरो अधीमहे पञ्चदशीं कैवल्यपदसिद्धये। नमः श्रीशङ्करानन्द गुरुपादाम्बुजन्मने सविलासमहामोहग्राहग्रासैककर्मणे। Last line again. सविलासमहामोहग्राहग्रासैककर्मणे. Big list of prayers. So sometimes, So we are seeing the differentiation now, the discriminative analysis of the 5 levels of experience. Better than sheets is better to understand levels of experience for everybody. And we recognize that on each level there is an error that we commit. That error is one of identifying ourselves with that level of experience. And the level of experience will be there because living means experience. Living in this physical body means I will have to undergo experiences in life. But identifying myself with the experience and erroneously identifying, if I intelligently or with wisdom identify, no problem. The problem for most people is that there is erroneous identification, and this erroneous identification is called anyon adhyasa. It's called adhyasa is a projection. It is mutual superimposition. So I I put the body, all the qualities of the kosha, annamaya kosha. If the kosha is fat, then I say what? I am fat. If the kosha is thin, I say I am thin. So I put all the conditions of the Annamaya kosha, whatever that condition is, lump it onto the I. I am becomes target for all the koshas. So then when the kosha, pranamaya, hunger is there, thirst is there, that is pranamaya kosha becoming active. And obviously the I has to be there to identify, to feed it. Otherwise, I cannot just witness the hunger and thirst. I have to feed. So the right identification means I don't allow that to overtake me and define me. So this pranamaya kosha, one level. Then we have the main identification for most of us is the manomaya kosha, which is the seat of emotions, the seat of this desire, seat of raga dvesha. Manomaya, of course, that is all the attributes of the mind, all the emotions that are. Emotion is nothing but a sensation that goes through the body, right? You feel the emotion. And why do we say negative emotion, positive emotion? We have to understand what do we mean by negative. Negative, we say, is anything that takes you away from your nature. We call it negative emotion. Takes you away, meaning as though covers your nature. Doesn't take you away. You cannot, your nature never leaves you and you cannot be robbed of your nature, but it as though covers your nature and it doesn't allow your true self to shine. So manomaya kosha, is the main identification, and then all the emotions, all the thoughts are taken to be me, are taken to be I. So there's no, again, adhyasa done, adhyasa, anyonya adhyasa, meaning there is mutual superimposition. I am superimposed on the manomaya kosha superimposed on the I am. So this is how we have the erroneous error. Vijnanamaya kosha, Anandamaya kosha, we saw these going through all the koshas, and now he comes to a method, another method that is used to see, is the kosha really real? Is it really you? So when you say this body, I am this body, I am this mind, when you say that, this differentiation is done analytically, borrowing from nyaya. So nyaya means there were a whole load of texts. People who lived in those times, nyayayikas they're called, logicians, very, very popular. In fact, they're very addictive. When you get into logic, Swamiji often used to say, don't study nyaya because you get swallowed with that. It is very, for people with logical thinking, it's addictive. It's like doing Sudoku. So when you feel like, some kind of quiz game, then you feel, mind likes that. So you get addicted, then you forget Vedanta. No. See, the beauty of Vedanta is that Vedanta as a tradition has borrowed from all the other ancient traditions, whatever is useful. Mimamsa also we have taken things from that. Nyayayikas also we have taken what is useful to analyze the Upanishads and the texts of Vedanta. We have taken from other traditions, other schools of thought. But we have not got absorbed in their thinking because their thinking is different to what Vedanta unfolds. So he brings in here, he's going to Pañcadaśī Vivekaha, which is the discriminative analysis between each kosha and Atma, the self. How is this done? He brings in this method. He says 37th verse, we can chant. You can repeat after me. Anvaya vyatirekabhyam.
Anvaya vyatirekabhyam. Anvaya vyatirekabhyam.
Pañcakosha vivekataha.
Pañcakosha vivekataha. Pañcakosha vivekataha.
Swatmanam tata uddhritya.
Swatmanam tata uddhritya. Swatmanam tata uddhritya.
Param brahma prapadyate.
Param Brahma prapadyate. Param Brahma prapadyate.
Whole verse together. Anvaya vyatirekabhyam Pañcakosha vivekataha Swatmanam tata udhritya Param Brahma prapadyate. So there is a method taken from Nyaya which is called Anvaya Vyatirekabhyam. Very simple. One means, Anvaya means co-presence and Vyatireka means co-absence. We'll see how it works, okay? So Pañcakosha Vivekataha, through the discriminative analysis of the 5 covers, Swatmanam Udhritya, one discovers oneself to be always there. Tataha Param Brahma Prapadyate, one discovers one's real self to be Swatmanam, real self to be always their own self. But after that, one comes to recognize the highest truth, which is Brahman, which one comes to recognize that this self is nothing separate from the high self. So this Vivekaha, when we do this discriminative analysis, there's always a help with the help of the teacher. Whenever any kind of discriminative analysis done, there is help of the teacher in the level of doubt removing and also in analyzing the teachings, how the teachings help to you to see the difference here. So it is removing the adhyasa. It has been erroneously there for many, many lifetimes. This adhyasa means projection, wrong projection, taking oneself to be what is an object of knowledge, actually, what is not one's real self. So Anvaya means spot the invariable in everything. What is invariable? Anvaya. Spotting the invariable in now Panchakoshas, but you can spot the invariable in all the different ways of analyzing the 3 states of experience. Also, you can see this method. You can try with this method. What is invariable and what is variable? So, Anvaya means what is present whenever experience is present. What is there whenever, any time you go through any experience, what is there that is present? And Shastra reveals that which is present. That's why it is a pramana as Sambit. We saw in this first chapter, pure limitless consciousness is there in every, lighting up every experience. So that is the fundamental, essential Anvaya, fundamental, essential truth as revealed by Vedānta. Vyatireka means negating the variables. What keeps changing? So if this is the fundamental truth, it is essential truth, it is inherent through all our experiences. What is it? Vyatireka means what is it that keeps varying? So it is negating the variable, it is seeing the invariable in everything. So what is absent even when experience is taking place? This is very important to understand. What is absent even when experience is taking place? Because if it is absent when any kind of experience is taking place, it cannot be you. This is the logic here. If something is absent, experience is still taking place, and it is not there, it cannot be you. This is the logic that is used, and that variable is called incidental. So what is variable? We know body, senses, mind, these are all varying, these are all variables, and we'll see in taking each sheath, he starts with avasthatraya first actually, and then we will see further. All come and go. That is called Vyatireka. What is varying constantly? Experience is always taking place, but some things are coming to one experience, some things are going in another experience. Some things coming in another experience, something is going. So what are these that keep coming and going? We're going to see. So what is intrinsic? Another rule is what is intrinsic to something can never be separated from it. What is intrinsic to something can never be separated from it. It is permanent. Can heat or light be separated from fire? Can heat or light, can I extract the heat from the fire? No. Can I? Because fire ceases to be fire if I extract heat. Can I extract light from the fire? I cannot. I cannot extract the nature, very nature that makes fire fire. I cannot extract it from that. Sweetness, can I extract sweetness from sugar crystal? No, its very nature is to be sweet. So this is called intrinsic nature. Intrinsic nature means that which cannot be separated from the thing it is intrinsic to. So only incidental nature can be separated. Incidental is coming and going. Incidental, many things are incidental in our life. They come and go out of our life. Even within the realm of experience, we see a lot of things incidental, right? Day and night is incidental. It doesn't stay. We don't have day. Sometimes in summer, probably in Sweden, you think, oh, it's intrinsic. It is not incidental. But definitely you'll have 1 hour at least of darkness, So, all of these things you see changing. You see the weather changing. Incidental means rain, then sun. That's called incidental. Even with the weather, we have incidental experiences. This whole Jagat is a mixture of all incidentals. That's what we are seeing as mithya. Everything incidental is mithya. So this is the technique that is used by Vedanta Shastra. Anvaya means looking at what is never varying in our experience. What is it? Examining what never changes, what never varies. What is that thing that is always present through all the experiences? Vyatireka means negating that which keeps changing through all the experiences. So he takes first, actually, avastha traya. He takes the 3 states of experience, and 38th verse he says, Abhane stula dehasya
Abhane stula dehasya Abhane stula dehasya
Swapne yat bhanamatmanaha
Swapne yat bhanamatmanaha Swapne yat bhanamatmanaha
Sonvayo vyatirekastat
Sonvayo vyatirekastat Sonvayo vyatirekastat
Bhanin yanavabhasanam
Bhanin yanavabhasanam Bhanin yanavabhasanam.
So, he actually, through the states of experience, and also he is using the bodies, the koshas here, the sharira kosha. What is this? In this verse, he is saying the anamaya, the stula deha is not intrinsic to Atma. So he says here, abhane stula dehasya, when the gross body, gross as in, English, in English we have 2 meanings of gross. One is, gross, that's gross, maybe this is gross. Gross is also heavy, gross means matter. So this way it's probably gross both ways. So gross body, abhane stula deha, when this gross body is not there, Swapne yat bhanam atmanaha. Swapne yat bhanam, still in dream there is presence of the I. So this is the first anvaya vyatireka. When the stula deha is not there, meaning you are not conscious of when you're dreaming, you've already gone to sleep. You can only enter dream state through sleep. Can't go straight to dream when you put your head down, right? Sleep first, then dream happens. But he's analyzing dream. The Anvaya is that the self is there in the dream state minus the physical body. Then is the physical body variable or invariable? Physical body is variable, right? It is, I hope so. Getting this, we have to this. Physical body is variable. It is variable minus physical body, you are still experiencing. Then what is the logic? Can you be the physical body? Logically, you cannot be the physical body because experience is still taking place. You are registering the experience minus physical body. So this is called Anvaya Vyatireka. In the presence of the invariable awareness, consciousness, all the variables, body, mind, sense complex are absent. So they are not the self. That's what he says here. Tat bhane anyan abhasanam. They don't shine, but yet you continue to shine. You're lighting up the dream. You are there in the dream lighting up. We saw today in the meditation. You are lighting up. You can create your own dream. Who is that? Even in meditation, sometimes you lose body consciousness. If you go into deep meditation, body you don't sense. So you cannot be the body because the experience is still taking place. Who is registering the experience? The physical body is not registering experience. There is something there registering the experience. So in waking state, Stula Deha is there, Atma is there, but waking state, that's why it's difficult to discern in waking state. We go to other states. Because in waking state, the physical body is there and Atma is there, and this is the state in which we commit the most errors. So this is why there's more confusion in the waking state. But other states are given. Sometimes Swami Dayananda used to say, sleep and dream are given for you to discover yourself. Sleep and dream are excellent states to examine, to show many parts of Vedanta, how that Ishvara can be material and intelligent cause. You can see in dream how you become the intelligence for the dream, you also become the material for the dream. Just like that, for the whole universe, he is the intelligence and the material. So it's beautiful. You are Ishvara in your dream. Ishvara is here in this dream, his dream. You are in his dream. You create your own dream within his dream. So this is how we analyze all of this. So in dream state, the physical body is not there, but Atma is inherent. So this is what he's saying here. The idea here is to see that the Stula Shariram, this physical body, is distinct from Atma. It is not Atma. And if Stula Shariram is separable from you, if Stula Shariram, another way of seeing is if Stula Shariram is inseparable from you. Suppose Stula Shariram is there all the time. You cannot have any other state of experience. You cannot have sleep and dream if it is inseparable, right? You will still be, feeling the body. You'll still be acting within the body. So you can't have other states as well. So the I is always present. This is called Anvaya, the self. And what does it show? Atma is independent of the body. You, Atma, the self, is independent of this physical body because you are never varying. You don't vary in dream state. And this, how does the dream state happen? Dream state is again all the vasanas that you have accumulated in the waking state get registered. So vasanas mean habitual, like certain habits you develop. You take a liking to something. Like I have a vasana for chili, for example. So you keep, you produce this vasana. What happens in dream? If I go to sleep, I had actually a dream of the chilies. Amazing. The other day, I remember seeing huge ones, because it comes up like that. That when you have a desire for something in waking state, sometimes in dream state, you have the experience you create. That is called vasana mayam prapancha. When you create a vasana in the waking state, you have the experience in the dream state. So this is how we become the material cause for the dream. What is becoming material cause? It is my own thoughts. The thoughts are the material cause for the dream. So many times actually desires also we cannot experience in the waking state, sometimes get exhausted in dream. It's very good if that happens and you don't have to worry about doing the stuff here. I mean, some people have that grace to exhaust their prarabdha in the dream. You're not able to fulfill that desire here, but you live through one dream where you have total, you enjoy that experience of what you wanted. You wake up and you feel, oh, I've done it now. So the desire actually gets lessened. Some people have that experience. It is grace. If you have something like that, you don't have to go through it in waking state, then good. So this is the how Atma, it shines in the dream state, shines through the dream state. In fact, can we experience the dream without Atma? Atma is actually lighting up the very dream state. All the dream objects that you see in the dream, what is illuminating the dream objects? Bringing them to light. When we imagine our dream world, we create a dream world and we are able to recognize the objects. We're able to even feel the emotion that we feel in the dream, like in waking state. Sometimes we feel joy, pain, all of the sorrow in the dream. Atma is lighting up all of that. Because when you wake up, you realize what? All of this is non-separate from me. I was very much there in the dream, but I was in a projection. I was in an avatar of myself. It's a different me, ahankara. So it's very, very interesting to see. We don't examine, but I am always there lighting up the dream minus my physical body. So this is how we do the viveka here. Anvaya vyatireka. I am different from stula deha. In waking alone, the physical body returns to me. So in dream state, I am always there. Atma's there. Now he goes on to another state. He says in this, Linga bhaneshu shuptau syat.
Linga bhaneshu shuptau syat. Linga bhaneshu shuptau syat.
Atmano bhanamanvayaha.
Atmano bhanamanvayaha. Atmano bhanamanvayaha.
Vyatirekastu tadbhane.
Vyatirekastu tadbhane. Vyatirekastu tadbhane.
Where is it? Yeah. Lingasya bhanamuchyate.
Lingasya bhanamuchyate. Lingasya bhanamuchyate.
We'll chant the whole verse. Linga bhaneshu shuptau syad. Atmano bhanamanvayaha. Vyatirekastu tadbhane. Lingasya bhanamuchyate. So in this verse, he talks about the deep sleep state. So waking state is ruled out because you cannot differentiate. You can't see clearly in waking state. But dream state, deep sleep state, we can see something clearly. For dream state, he said, I am still there. Anvaya Vyatireka is that I am Atma is still there even when the physical body is missing. I'm not conscious, physical body, not missing, but it is not aware. There's no awareness of the physical body. Now he says, in sleep, the Sukshma Shariram is missing. Sukshma Sharira, specifically the Manomaya Kosha and Vijnanamaya Kosha, that part of Sukshma Sharira, The thinking is totally dormant. But what happens? You still are there. So there's no experience of thought in deep sleep. So he says when the Sukshma Sharira is active, there is no experience of sleep. Because, when the Sukshma Sharira is active, I'm dreaming. So part of the mind is still active. Ardha Vikasa, it is called half awake. In dream, actually, mind is half awake. It is not fully dormant, but there are vasanas there that are still, projecting your dream world. But in deep sleep, it is fully dormant. There is no thought in deep sleep. That's what he says here. Linga bhane chushuptau syat. In the deep sleep, when this linga sharira, this subtle body, if you remember that linga sharira is that which points to something else. This is how you find out. The linga means that which points to something else. The linga is pointing here to what? The one that lights up the state. The one that inheres permanently through the state. Minus itself, minus linga, minus the sharira. So Atma shines in deep sleep. Atma, I continue in deep sleep because experience is there. Experience is registered not while I'm sleeping. Experience is registered when I wake up because I know I slept well. I recognize the state of my deep sleep. I recognize that I did sleep. If you didn't know that you slept, you wouldn't be able to say, oh, I slept so well. I didn't sleep very, very well. You must have been there lighting up that deep sleep state for you to recount the quality of the sleep. So here in deep sleep, linga bhane shushupto, there is no mind. There is no sense activity, no mind. But later I'm able to say, yes, I slept really well. I had very good rest. But there is a witnessing presence. Whatever is not there in deep sleep, minus all of that, there is still a witnessing presence. That witnessing presence we call Sakshi. That witnessing presence, as we have seen, is always wide awake. Swamiji used to make a joke. Alupta Drik is one of the names of this witness. Alupta Drik means the one with the eyes always open. So he used to go, Atma's like this all the time. Through all the states, Atma, always with the eyes open. All the states. Because even in deep sleep, what is being witnessed? The absence, remember. In deep sleep, I'm witnessing the absence of everything. I'm witnessing the absence of all objects. So, Anvaya here, he says, is Atmano Bhanam. Atmanaha Bhanam is called Anvaya. The self-presence of Atma is Anvaya. It is variable or invariable? It is invariable presence. Invariable, non-changing presence in deep sleep. And it doesn't drop. This presence doesn't drop even when the subtle body goes offline. We can say the subtle body is offline, but Atma's presence never drops. So that is Vyatireka. In waking state, in dream state, and now in sleep state, you can see what is the one invariable presence in all the states. Experiences take place because of that invariable presence. The states of experience are lit up because of that invariable presence. That is you. That is Atma, pure consciousness, the self, sometimes called Jyotisham Jyotihi, the light of all lights. It lights up even the luminaries. The luminaries, sun and moon and stars come to light because of that one light. Even the lights that light up the whole world cannot come to light without Atma Jyotihi. So it is called the light of all lights. Vyatireka is what? Atma can exist without Sukshma Shariram, but Sukshma Shariram cannot exist without Atma. So Atma minus Sukshma Shariram, it is still there. One invariable presence. So it passes both of the tests. It is present in sleep, Anvaya, that is called Anvaya. It is present in sleep, but other things can be absent. Everything can be absent. Sleep, there is one thing along with Atma that Atma lights up in sleep, which is prana. Prana has to be there to keep the body alive, to keep the body functioning. That is the only part of Sukshma Sharira that is there in deep sleep. But the thoughts, everything are missing, but Atma still continues. So in sleep, what do we recognize as well? We don't have any memory, there is no thought, there is no recognition, there is absolutely nothing. It is like darkness. When you talk about nothingness, Buddhists talk about the shunyam. Sometimes you feel, shunyam, nothingness, that Atma is nothingness. When they go into their meditation or anything, they say, there is only shunyam. You'll see, there is only shunyam. Sometimes the monks talk about. But we ask, the Buddhists, who is there to recognize the shunyam? Who is there to recognize, to register that there is nothingness? There has to be somebody there, right? To witness the nothingness. So for them, the state called shunyam, they call it shunyam, that exists, there is nothingness. It is exactly like this. Minus objects, you're with yourself. So even in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, there is no duality there. Your pure yoga also, the end of the last step of Ashtanga Yoga is what? Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That is minus subject-object. You are pure awareness in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. But what is present there? No subject-object, but the one that illumines both subject and object is there. But for Nirvikalpa Samadhi, what do we have to do to get into Nirvikalpa Samadhi? Many, many things. It's not easy to get into Nirvikalpa Samadhi. We have to follow all these steps of Ashtanga and quite tapas, quite a lot of tapas. You get into Nirvikalpa Samadhi and you can come out of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. It's another experience, state of experience. So for Vedanta, we're not interested in going into states and out of states, are we? We're interested in seeing the one invariable through all the states. Who is there in Nirvikalpa Samadhi? Yes, objects are not there, but you are there lighting up that Samadhi state. That's why you love to be in that Samadhi state. But you see a lot of stories, if you read our, Purana stories, Hinduism, see a lot of stories where these rishis, they have anthills growing around them and you don't know whether the rishi is there. The descriptions like this, they're sitting in the forest, snakes and ant pits are all around, their nails are like 5 meters long and things like that. They have no body consciousness. And people, they used to think these are the real enlightened ones. But then you see, somebody comes and disturbs their meditation because they're in Samadhi. So they're in a state of no non-duality because there's no object or subject in that state. Somebody comes and disturbs. What happens? Immediately curse. So you find the same, when you're disturbed from the state, the same personality continues. It doesn't change anything. It just keeps the world blank for some time. That sleep also, does it change you when we go to sleep? Sometimes they say, you rejuvenate. Maybe physically it's good for health. People who sleep a lot, they get less wrinkles. I read somewhere. You have less aging. Sleep helps you to age less or whatever. But we cannot keep sleeping, right? Sleep is also not something that, is conducive ultimately for good health. So going into these states and escaping the world to experience non-duality is not what Vedanta talks about. Vedanta talks about open-eyed recognition. That is the beauty of this knowledge. It is opening your eyes to recognize the one invariable presence through all the states of experience, living in the world, not allowing the world to be in you, but being in the world, enjoying everything as well. Senses, body, mind, senses are given for enjoying the world. They're not, at the beginning you have to shut off a little because too much enjoyment also can drag you outwards. But after recognition of truth, what is there you cannot enjoy? It is mithya. If you know the substance of every name and form in this universe, then you are not dragged away by the names and forms. You are yourself in the enjoyment. You're yourself always through the enjoyment. So here he says that this is what he's saying. It's the one inherent truth. This Atma is Anvaya. Vyatireka is all the other things. The variables are all negated. Atma is always there. Now he takes the Panchakoshas. He applies the same Anvaya Vyatireka to examine with the Panchakoshas. The same logic. He says, Tattva-viveka dvivivikta syuhu.
Tattva-viveka dvivivikta syuhu.
Tattva-viveka dvivivikta syuhu. So that vivikta syuhu, you can join the sandhi. Koshaf pranamayo diyaha.
Koshaf pranamano diyaha. Koshaf pranamano diyaha.
Tehi tatra gunavastha.
Tehi tatra gunavastha. Tehi tatra gunavastha.
Bhedamatrat pritak kritaha.
Vedānta pratak kritaha. Vedānta pratak kritaha.
So same thing is analyzed. As I said, here in Vedanta you will find the same thing being analyzed, different angles. So Sukshma Shariram is now replaced by Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, because the koshas, this is how they correspond together. We saw Annamaya is Stula Shariram, and these three koshas are Sukshma Shariram, and Anandamaya kosha is Karana Shariram. That's how they correspond. So he says now, the three koshas are also analyzed. Guna, Avastha, Bheda, Matra. Guna Avastha means they are only divided because of gunas. So if you remember, Rajav Pradhana, if it is more Rajas, then Pranamaya Kosha comes into existence with Rajav Pradhana, because Prana is connected to Karmendriyas, organs of activity. So Prana powers your organs of activity. Then Manomaya and Vijnanamaya, he says, are born from the Sattva Guna Pradhana, Sattva Guna predominant. Actually, it is beautiful to see this. If you see, the Manaha and the Buddhi are born of what aspect? Sattva Guna. Originally, we are all Sattvic. This is the beautiful original nature. When the original mind was born for every jiva, the first mind, before all the other, the colorations took place with Rajas and Tamas, was Sattvic. Manomaya, Vijnanamaya is Sattvic Pradhana. So everybody is born pure. So whole of life, our experiences color us. We are actually born Sattvic predominant mind and intellect. But because of various experiences, also the vasanas that get triggered because of being in the world. When you're in the world, certain tendencies, vasanas, tendencies is a good word. Tendencies that we bring from past life, they're dormant in the causal body. So I don't know, that's why it's sometimes people say, oh, I don't have any vasanas, I'm fine. If you're sitting by yourself somewhere with no trigger, then nothing comes out. So a lot of people I don't need to be with people. I don't need to, have anyone around me, because sometimes when we are around, things get triggered. So we have to see, is it out of fear I'm avoiding interacting with people? Or is it truly because I'm enjoying myself? People can be with themselves if they enjoy themselves. Then you're not bothered if people are there, not there. But escaping from others because we don't want things triggered is actually not helping us grow. We should be in places, as I said, after this retreat, challenge yourself. Let me go to places where I now see how Vedanta's worked. You won't know. You won't know until you put yourself in those situations. Go to people who trigger you, people who push your buttons after the 2-week course here, and see how much you've changed. Now, if you have if you again react, don't go back with your tail between your legs. Like, don't feel despondent, dejected. Try again. Say, oh, I have a bit more work to do now. I have a bit more, because unless we expose ourselves to the external world, we never know in which areas we have to grow. It will never come. So in fact, the whole jagat of people and of objects and situations is a blessing for spiritual life, for us to grow. So sometimes we need to be in situations, and sometimes we can withdraw to understand those situations. Isn't it beautiful that if you can be in the world part of the time to grow, then you take yourself out of the world to a place like this for a length of time to understand your experiences. This is another beautiful thing I remember Swamiji saying. Vedanta doesn't really teach you anything. Life teaches you. Vedanta helps you assimilate your life. It's a very profound saying. Vedanta helps you assimilate your life. So what we are doing here in these classes is assimilating our life experiences. We're not really learning anything new. You know all this with a little bit of understanding. It's not some new knowledge we're hearing. We know all of this. You know, when people come to me and they say, Swamini, you were so clear. It was so simple. It was so clear, so much clarity. Look at it. If you don't have clarity, how do you know I have clarity? You say I'm clear because you are clear. Only because you are clear, you can say somebody else is clear, which means you already have the knowledge with you. Everybody already knows what Vedanta is saying. You say clear because the Shastra is a mirror reflecting your experience. It's beautiful. That's how Vedanta works. It is a mirror simply reflecting your experiences of life. And if we don't grow through our experiences, then we get stuck in that worm life. If we don't grow out of these experiences and learn out of the experiences, then we get stuck in that flow and we keep going. So Vedanta is a tool to help you analyze your life and understand what is happening. That's the beauty of this knowledge. You start understanding. Many people are living blindly in this world. You all know, many people, we all know, living blindly without Vedanta, this knowledge. And it's very sad to see how they go up and down with the situations and all the fights and the battles. It's quite sad to see. And what can we do? Unless they come and ask for help, we cannot go and preach this knowledge. It is not a preaching tradition, it's a teaching tradition. So people really have to have some punya to come to this knowledge, to help it transform their lives through understanding, through holding the mirror. That is all Vedanta does. Because remember, life teaches you. And if I keep escaping life, I will never learn, right? If I keep escaping experiences that life throws at me, I will not grow and learn. So this is how we understand that is by the side of this. But anyway, it just came. Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Sattva Pradhana. So we are originally, we are pure. Mind is pure. So it is actually deconditioning all the conditioning to go back to the original state of the mind. That is what Karma Yoga, all of that does. That's why we love children. When you look at children, the mind is still pure, Sattva Guna predominant. It is fresh, it is innocent. That innocence we lose when we go through some more of life, right? We have to regain that innocence, that vulnerability, because there is nothing that can hurt. When you understand, it is only the defense mechanism that I'm going to get hurt, that I start putting up barriers. The child starts putting up more and more barriers. But then I'm not living authentically myself. I'm not authentic to myself. And that's a pain. Isn't it a pain not to be authentic to yourself? It's a pain to live for other people's expectations all the time. So this is where we understand, Sattva predominant means more and more Sattva means more and more I am myself. My relative self, whatever Bhagavan has given. And if people don't like that relative self, is it your problem? No, it is their problem. They have to deal with it because you are Ishvara's order for them. So if you trigger somebody, you are their karmic, you are their karma. You can tell them, I'm your karma. What can I do? I can't do about it. I'm helping you grow. Look at it that way. At least in Vedānta circles, we can talk like this, right? So here, he says here, the Panchakoshas are incidental to Atma. The mind, which is always changing, we saw that Sankalpa, Vikalpa. It is always changing. It is the nature of coming and going. Just because Buddhi and Manaha, the nature of vrittis, thought forms, they will always keep changing. So, can it be Atma? No, the invariable is Atma. Atma lends existence to the thoughts. It cannot give up. The Atma cannot give up its intrinsic nature. What is the intrinsic nature of Atma? To light up everything. It cannot, like the fire with heat and light. Atma Jyoti keeps lighting up the good, bad and ugly. Even now, we say, the whole Jagat, so many things are happening, nobody knows, there's no security here. Is Atma affected by any of this? Does Atma say, no, I want this, I want that? No, it is simply lighting up all that is taking place in this big Jagat drama. So here, he talks about this, and we will see more in the afternoon. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaः Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityorma amritam gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om